Hey guys, Stu from Stuart Scale Models, and I just thought I'd give you a little update on my Revell AT ACT from Rogue One, which I started, well, 2 or 3 months ago, just as a little sideline project. And I'm sorry I haven't done a video in about a week. Reason being is work has been absolutely crazy. It really has. Obviously, with the last week of the old Bental store in Bracknell here in Berkshire in England. That's for my overseas cousins there. It is going to be closing down, and obviously we're all going to be transferring to the new Phoenix store, which is part of the new regeneration of the town. So needless to say, everybody has been coming in with all the further markdowns, excuse the pun, like flies round shit. It's literally been like that. So I've been coming home pretty exhausted and not having much time on the workbench, but thankfully I've had a nice long weekend and that's really made up for it. So I'm now into the final week of the old Bental store, for which I've been a part of, best part of 18 years of. So it's a little bit sad, but you know, times change, everything has its time, and then we move on. So yeah. But that will be rectified because at the end of this week I've got a fortnight off in between going to the new store and setting that up for the grand opening on September the 7th. So yeah, anyway, as I said, thought I'd give you a little update of my Revell AT ACT from Rogue One, and here it is. It is done. The construction part, the painting part, the weathering part is done. So it is complete. I'll just move the leg down a bit. Hang on, get him to stand a bit better. Trying to pose him a bit better. There we go. Let's get him in the middle of the picture here. You can see. Last time you saw is the base colour that has been put on, and I just put the dark dirt wash on. It's come on a long way since then. I've done a little bit more. I've done the actual weathering on it, involving, if I can find it, where did I put, oh, I've put everything away now. Hang on, bear with me. I'm just going to move some stuff out. Let's see if I can find it. Right, as I keep these all in ice cream tubs, but I hope to rectify this situation soon. Where did I put it? No, that isn't the one. Oh, no, me, it's right at the damn bottom. Or is it? Here we go. I think that, no, that's not it either. Oh well, never mind, doesn't matter. What I was going to say was what I basically used to give the sort of rain streak effect, as it were, grime effect on it, which is a source I've got in that book on Rogue One, which I've been using as a resource. Find the page. Where are we? Okay, got it in the back here. Yeah, here we go. And basically I've been using this as a resource for the weathering on it. And also, hang on if I can find it. And I'll add the page here. Here we go. That one as well as a resource for the weathering on it, and this illustration here as well. So that is what I've been using as a resource for all the weathering. As you can see, you got all these streaks, the chipping on the cargo hold, etc. And this is the scene I'm trying to re-depict. So that's what I've been using as a resource for the weathering, really, and I would say it's come up pretty near it, actually. So I use for the streaking effects MIG's grime wash, enamel wash and used some white spirit just to sort of soften it, to give it that streaked effect, as it were, as you can see on the side of the actual body here, and also on the legs as well, to give that oily streaked look, as it were. So that's come up really well. And also on the main control housing here, the crew compartment, I've also put streak effects on there on the top as well. Don't know if you can see it. There you go. And also on the opposite side as well. So yeah, pretty happy with that. And then I let that dry overnight, and then this morning I basically chipped up the cargo hold, as you can see here. And as I finished doing that, as well as on the other side, I thought to myself, hang on a minute, why don't I make it look a little bit worn? So basically I went around it with, as I've done on here, a soft sponge and a pair of tweezers with some Tamiya chrome silver, dab, 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 dab. Did it all along the top of the crew compartment on here, the main top of the body, and certain sections at the rear, and also in the legs, as you can see here. I've got various amounts of chipping, just to give it that heavy steel effect of a big massive vehicle, as it were. So I used that, and then once that was done, I just went over with various panels with some pastels and lightly dabbled that on with an old brush, as well as at the bottom of the crew passenger hole here, and also on the various bottom parts of the legs as well, as you can see here. Okay, then once that was all done, the next process was just to give it an overall coat of Tamiya XF86 matte clear. And I have to say, I'm impressed with that. I mean, I've been using testers, but to be honest with you, I think I'm going to use this from now, because you don't tend to use a lot, and before you know it, it comes down a lovely matte finish and really enhances the details you can see on here. The only other thing I forgot to mention, on the bottom of the legs here, the feet, when I actually put the plaster on the base, which I just basically quickly popped it on top to give it that sort of edge of where the mud was, etc. And then once that was done, much later after I'd done all the matte coat and that, when I was actually painting the base with Tamiya Buff, I just did a slight light dusting on the feet here, as you can see. Just give it that sort of dusty effect, as though it's been trundling along the beach, as it were. So yeah, that was that really. And as I say, that's the 80 ACT done. Extremely happy about the way it's actually turned out. It's not a bad little kit. I mean, if you don't want to pay out for the Bandai kit, go along and get yourself one of these Revell ones. Very easy, snap together, and if you want to make it look more realistic, do as I do here. Paint it, weather it up, etc. And it does look a very good kit in the end. Not as highly detailed as the Bandai one, but all the same, getting it on the top here. You got the sound effect, which even looks more effective now I've painted and weathered it. Okay, now moving on to the base, that's nearly done. As you can see here, there we go. Okay. Actually the camera's a bit high up here, so what I'm going to do is move the camera in. You can have a look yourself. Now what I did was actually use one of the bases I bought at Telford last year, and I ordered some palm trees from a seller on eBay. I can't remember the name of the product, unfortunately. Now they did look a little bit toy-like, so what I did is obviously I used UMP's sand wash and basically covered it in, well, clear coated the tree trunks, covered it over with the old UMP sand wash, removed the excess, and then after I'd done that, I just gave them all a basic matte coat with Testors matte coat to give it more of an authentic look, and then obviously planted them on the base. Now obviously before I'd done that, I basically covered it all in Steinerese, and then basically did the base colours of the green and the well, I used to me as dark yellow as a base colour. Then once that was done, I basically put on well, I think I've got the canister here. It's Woodland Scenics medium sized ballast. Now I used the Woodland Scenics glue and sprayed that over. I didn't use the thick glue. I wish I had now, to be honest with you. I did put a load of it on there, soaked it through, let it dry for 24 hours, and then obviously tried to remove the excess. But in doing so, it didn't glue properly, and a lot of it fell off. So I thought, oh my god, this is a disaster. And then obviously in between that, I put the Woodland Scenic static grass on as well. Did have some fun and games with that, because unfortunately the trees kept falling off and then ripping up half the the grass. So I've had to glue them down with super glue, and what I'm going to do once I've actually done this, because it wasn't looking too good with this, so I thought to myself, what I'll do is basically give it a colour of buff to give it more sort of a sandy effect, as you can see here. Still doesn't look brilliant to my eyes, because half the covering has actually fallen off and it got blown off with the airbrush, but hey, that's part of the practice and part of the learning of doing vignettes and dioramas, I suppose. But again, it's come up really effective, so maybe it was a happy accident, I don't know. I mean, I've unfortunately got bits of all this ballast still floating all around in the grass, but as you can see there. But again, I'll give it another layer of static grass, and then I'm going to put some foliage in there, because obviously it's a little bit of clumpy foliage, which is basically from the scene of the movie, so just give it that more sort of thick vegetation look, tropical look really. So basically that's where we are in terms of the AT-ACT and the base. So I thought I'd give you a little update, guys. So there we go, it's almost finished. You may well get the final reveal on my channel update, which I'm going to be doing just over a week. So I thought I'd give you a little update. So there we are, that's where we are at the moment. It's almost finished, and obviously when this thing goes on, actually let's get the legs a bit better placed. It's going to sit on here, and then obviously it will depict the scene I'm trying to do. Let's move it around a bit more. Obviously, if you can see from here, it looks more effective, because that really reenacts the scene I'm trying to depict. So yeah, so he's about, well, actually I'm going to probably move him around that way a little bit more. So he's about to trample through the trees on the planet, where is it? Ascari, I think it is, at the end of Rogue One. So there you go. But as I say, I've just got to get the foliage in, put some more static grass on, then put the foliage in, and then glue it into the base, and it'll be job done. That'll be another project completed. So there we go, that's as far as I've got with the Rogue One AT-ACT. So there we are, I'm almost at 14 minutes, so I've waffled on enough as it is now, guys. As I say, I'll probably do the final reveal as part of my channel update for this project, and then the next thing I'm going to crack on with is obviously my entry to the Tiger 1 75th anniversary group build, and also my Hawker Hunter as well. As regards the Warren Blanche buddy build, that's going to go on hold, because I mean at the moment I've got a good year to get that completed, so there's no rush on that one. But obviously with the Hunter and the Tiger, there is more of an impetus, so there you go. Anyway, that's it for now, guys, so until the next time, get kit crazy, happy modelling, and I'll speak to you soon.